Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Backstage Spotlight. Today we have Kieran Lynch. Hello.
Oh,
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? Long time no see.
Well, I know. So Kieran and I actually trained together at Lane Theatre Arts, so which actually seems like ages ago now. We've only graduated like 4 or 5 months ago. Actually, I feel like I've just said about 100 things. Kieran actually left early because he got a contract, so it has been a while. So would you
It's been
like
a
to...
little while.
Oh, go
It
on.
feels weird. It feels weird. It feels like it's went by really quickly, but also it feels like we were there last week. It's really strange. Really,
That's
really strange.
Would you like to just tell everybody what contract you've just finished?
Yes, I just finished Greece, the UK tour, UK and Ireland tour.
Yes.
Uh,
And
yeah,
what was that? I mean, you left college early to do that, so what an amazing first job.
yeah. It was strange. It was weird because um it was actually my first edition, and I kind of wasn't really thinking about even getting the job. It was just like a experience thing. Um, and it's just when the right thing comes around, just very lucky, very lucky. It was weird leaving early because there was times where I was in rehearsals and stuff or like in different locations, and then you'd be seeing on your stories that everyone was, at prom or
Mm.
doing all these things or like nights out together or like projects and stuff. And it was a bit, it was a good thing. Obviously, it's a great thing, but it was also sometimes a bit sad not getting to see my friends.
So, do you want to talk to us about how you got into performing? How old were you when you first found the love for it?
Yep, I was 8 years old
Oh.
and I did a bit of football and lots of other hobbies. And my sister was the dancer. She liked to go to dance class, and I used to go around on a Saturday and basically just sit eating bacon rolls all day. And they were like, "Well, come in, come in, come in, bring him in, bring him in." And I was like, "Nope, absolutely not. No, it's for girls. It's not for me." Um, and then one day my sister was like pointing her feet, and I was like, "I could do that." So I did, and then it's like never stopped. It went from that into drama lesson, then drama lesson into Amdram into training, training into this. So um yeah, crazy. It feels like it's weird. It's just it's all kind of happened very quickly, even though
It's
it's been like 11 years.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of been with you from a very young age, like having to go with your sister and then you just naturally falling into it, which is really nice. What
Yeah.
was the first dance class that you did? What style?
First style was jazz, musical theater jazz.
Oh, wow.
And what did we do? We did something from Jersey Boys. I think we did like begging from Jersey Boys.
I can't believe you
Um
remember that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it just comes, but like, yeah, that was our first class. I remember being like, "This is quite cool."
Oh,
Um, yeah,
what about singing?
singing. Oh, I think I've always sung. I think I don't know if it's an everywhere thing, but in Scotland, it's just right of way that everyone at parties goes and does karaoke or gets up and gives us a song,
Oh,
or at like big family parties and stuff, everyone does a sing song, or we've all got all our kind of like Scottish tunes. So I think everyone's always kind of sung, like even around the house. My grandpa sung, uh, and I think his mum was like a singer at one point, like around the UK with her sisters and stuff. So I think it's always been around, but I've never really, I don't even know where that started. It's just always been there, always been singing, sing song.
nice. Lovely that it's in the family as well.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. No one else does musical theatre, but everyone still loves, we call it like a chanter. Everyone likes a chanter.
So, what was the moment where you realized that musical theatre and performing could be a career?
We used to get free tickets. My dad used to work with taxis,
Okay.
and his boss's wife used to work for the Playhouse in Edinburgh. And whenever they had like random tickets, they would just hand them out to the staff or the guys working at the cabs. And obviously my dad knew that my sister enjoyed musical theatre, my mum enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it. So it was like, here we go. So we went to go and see like everything. like absolutely everything. I think that the more shows I watched, the more kind of rounded your kind of education of musicals became. Instead of watching like Hairspray on DVD or like going to the cinema and seeing something, it was like watching performers in front of you being like, oh, that's actually real and it's something that you could maybe do. Um, we used to always pay like a little donation towards to get the tickets, and we always used to pay £1. And
Mhm.
this one day, my dad turned around to me and was like, I've got tickets for this show. You're gonna love it. We're gonna go. And because we'd seen so many, I was like, nah, nah, it's okay, it's fine. No, absolutely not. And he was like, no, no, you'll really enjoy it. It's called Sister Act. And I went, okay, well, what's that about? And he went, nuns. So I was like, no, 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 not going, not going. Anyway, he dragged me along to the theater, and I was raging, sat in the audience like that. And we paid £1 for these tickets, sat right towards the front, and sitting down, and the lead that came on stage playing Dolores was Cynthia Erivo. So now, before Elphaba was Elphaba, I might have missed that opportunity to now go and see her. So that was like a really special moment. Me and my dad watching Cynthia. That was quite cool.
Oh, that's such a memory. So, so wholesome. So,
Yeah.
when you started thinking about training professionally, how was your audition period?
I had a bit of a strange experience with my whole audition for drama school. Um, my first round of auditions was in like 2018, and I
Right.
auditioned for three schools, and two got in touch and said, yes, we'll give you funding, but I didn't like them.
Oh,
And then the other one that I really wanted to go to and got in said there's no funding.
oh,
So I went, oh my God. So instead, I just turned down all the schools and thought I'm gonna have a little bit of time out, gonna have a year out. And the school got back in touch and said, would you come? If we gave you funding, would you come? I went, absolutely. I'm not gonna turn down this opportunity. I went to drama school, went to arts ed. That was the school that I'd chosen, and my like mind wasn't in it. I kept thinking about the year out. I'd been like, as I said before, doing things since I was like 8 years old. It was constant until I was about 18. I was like, I want a little bit of a break. I kind of want to take a step back. So got to the end of my first year, and they allowed me to take a year out. And then about 6 months after that, COVID happened. So my
no.
funding was completely cut. They sent us a letter. There's nothing they could do. So I then had nowhere to train. And it was COVID. It was a pandemic. So everyone was busy. My friends were then obviously still doing Zooms and stuff online. But I went and became wanted to become a barber randomly. I worked at a bar, like helped manage a bar, and yeah, I kind of had no way of going back
No.
into the industry. And then my sister turned around to me one day and she says, "You're wasting your life. Get back to musical theatre." She's very harsh. And I that night just randomly sent an application off to Lane because she was auditioning that week, and I thought it'd be hilarious if I show up and she's there
And if
and
you're,
I'm there.
yeah, how funny.
Yeah. So I was like, I'll audition. I'll go for it. I'll just see if I can keep up. And then from then, I randomly went in with the attitude in my head of it doesn't matter if I do or don't get this because it's just a joke. It's just to see if I can keep up. It's
Happens
just
will happen sort of thing.
exactly. So I just showed up, and then they put me straight into second year, very luckily.
Yes.
Um,
In our year.
yeah, and that's it. And then we did Lane, and then throughout that I had Panto and whatever, and then I left early. So I think I was at Lane for like 12 months or something altogether if you take everything away.
Yeah, that's mad. And how did you enjoy your time at Lane?
I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was great. I think the way that everyone is together, as in I was saying this to someone yesterday, there's no hierarchy. Everyone's just kind of part of the system.
That was,
First years talk to third years talk to second years. And it makes going out into auditions and stuff. when you bump into people, you're not afraid to go and talk to them because you don't know them that well or whatever. You just once you're part of that little lane bubble, it's quite nice. Did you feel that way? It was
Yeah, definitely. Like
like
if I see someone from like I saw you the other day in Tesco. Like it's
yeah.
just familiarity, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
It
um it's comforting, if anything. And that's what you need to kind of have, especially in an audition situation, is having people around you that are nice and kind and you know,
and have been through the
there
same
for you.
training as you, and you just feel like you resonate with someone that's in the room, which must be quite nice.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
So
It's
talk
great.
about your Grease rounds. How were they? Because you mentioned that that was your first audition in third year. So how
Yeah.
did it all unfold?
It was mental. I mean, we went in and we just kept getting taught dances. It was dancing and dancing and dancing. It was like I think we did um beauty school dropout, Grease Lightning.
Yeah, which is quite intense.
Oh my God, a lot, yeah. And then they just kind of cut us down in the room. It was just round, gone. And then had to sing. And I think we went back another three or four times. And then throughout that period, we would do partner work, um, like our hand jive and stuff. And you'd have to work with someone else. And I ended up working the first time I auditioned with someone else. I ended up partnered with Hope, who plays Sandy.
And yes,
So yeah, and we both looked at each other, and I wasn't picking that up. Like pickup rate was gone. I was a bit nervous and stuff. I think that she'd agree that she was in the same situation, and we were just fanning about at the back. I just turned around to her. I was like, "Look, if we look like we're having fun,
that's all that matters.
let's just fake it till we make it." And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, we're doing the show together. It was like it works. Even if you can't get the moves, sometimes you just gotta fake it until you make it.
And also, people who do have the moves might have a absolutely flat face. Like it's not about, you've got the audition period to learn the moves. If you don't have the personality and the stage presence, it might not be as appealing for the casting
Yeah.
director.
Well, another thing as well, there was someone who messaged me the other day asking about um advice for auditions and stuff. I don't really feel like I have the complete right at the moment to give full on life advice, but I just talked to them. I was like, the one thing that you can't do is know what a panel's thinking. If you
Exactly.
get cut, it's very rarely that it's on your talent. Sometimes it is, but majority of the time, I think you're never going to find out what they were looking for. You might have just not looked the right way or been different height or not had what they were looking for. And I think that's one thing that's important that um, you try not to work out what they're thinking. I feel like that's a thing in auditions. Everyone looks at the panel and is going, well, she's smiling at me and he's glaring at me and he's writing something down. What's he writing? It just distracts you from being present. I think that's quite important as well.
For sure. What does your day look like at the moment now that Greece is finished? You've just finished Panto, which must have been
Yeah.
Christmas time. What are you auditioning? Have you got a job?
Yes, I do have an upcoming job.
Oh, that we will see. Oh, go follow Kieran's social media for the announcements.
Yes, I can't announce it quite yet.
Of course.
But it's soon. But I'm having to jet off. That's the clue I can give. I'm having to fly away somewhere. So that's exciting.
Exciting.
So my day at the moment is it's been quite busy because I'm going away. Um going to like meet up family and stuff. Like I spent quite a lot of time up in Edinburgh.
Nice.
Um and then coming occasionally back to London. So to try and see as many people as possible or catch shows that I want to go and see before leaving and stuff. So yeah, that's what my days are looking like at the
Very
moment.
exciting. What would your advice be for people in between contracts? Because obviously the performance industry isn't consistent, and there is those periods of time where you are auditioning with you're not getting paid in those periods of time. What would your advice be to conquer that blankness or emptiness?
In between, you know what? I'm probably not the best person to give that advice because I actually enjoy a muggle job, and that
Well,
sounds really weird.
me
I
too.
love, I,
You just have to do it, don't you?
yeah. I've worked at pubs so many times, like even at Lane, I was working like maybe 5 days a week or something as well as college.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. How did you not
sometimes five, not every week.
get tired?
Hmm?
Did you just not get tired?
Yeah, knackered,
Oh,
knackered. But it was, I mean, during company rehearsals, I would have to leave. We did company, obviously, as our third year
yeah.
show.
That was our third year show.
We do it all day, so I think it was from like maybe 9. Is that
Nine,
right? 9 in
like,
the morning? 9 till 5. So then my shift would start at 4:30. So sometimes I'd leave
oh
for
yeah.
4:30, get there at 5, then start my shift until about 12 o'clock, and then get home at like 1, and then go back in again next day. So,
Oh my
but then you just got to do what you got to do. I mean, rent needs to be
God.
paid, and
Exactly,
you
yeah.
know,
It's hard, and a lot of a thing that's been very obvious on my socials at the moment. I've just started working in a cafe now. I just did it because I was bored. I wanted to fill my days. But all of
yeah.
the comments absolutely slating the fact that I just had a normal job. And they were like, is social media not enough for you? Is like everything you're doing not enough? And I was just like, give me a break. Like I'm allowed to get a normal job if I want one. Like everyone else like gets a normal job. Why can't I? And it's a
But
weird, yeah,
it's crazy with even if you do a job and you have no idea what people's normal lives are normally, especially on social media and stuff. So people are very different from, in person than they are in social media. And I think that there's some of my friends that are like trying to save up for a house or try to save up for a car or have got a holiday that got coming up. So then you save the money on your contract and your tour, but then in between that, you don't want to spend the money you just saved for these things that you're looking forward to.
yeah. You need to.
You've still got the rent to pay. You've still got to keep going. Just because like you're out of work, like you might be out of work for a year, 6 months, like performing wise. And if you're happy to do a muggle job, it's great. But then you can also keep doing your MT stuff. Like I went to Edinburgh just for a break to see friends and family and stuff. My parents are working during the day, so then I went and taught a couple of workshops. You
Mm,
know, as you said, it's about filling your day, but doing something you also enjoy. I think that's the biggest
yes,
thing. But doesn't mean you know, doesn't mean you're falling to the side or anything. I feel like that's probably a stigma that happens.
for
It's
sure.
crazy that people have commented on that actually.
I know. I'm like, I'm literally just motivated. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
So
It's
random.
good.
I wanted to ask you how you found the tour life and if you had any life hacks or tips for being on tour.
Um, yeah, I mean, um, I think because it was my first time on tour, everything was new and exciting, and every venue you went to, there was always something to do and someone to see, and it was a bit crazy. I think I was a bit crazy on tour, just just being a bit too excitable and run about the place and whatever. Never in a bad way. Um, but I think that the best thing to do is maybe have a little bit of money saved before. We'd finished, even though I'd worked quite a few hours, I started the contract with probably like £100 to spare during rehearsals before we got paid and stuff. So I had travel, which was from Surrey to East London,
Mm,
then our food for the day, and then anything else, even if you after work, someone maybe wants to go for like a drink or a bite to eat or something. Um, and then dinner as well. So all these things had to really budget in that first week. But then also as well, something they don't tell you is digs on tour. So
mm,
finding your accommodation.
yes.
And I remember there was one day where everyone was talking. There's quite a few people who have done digs before, and also people who are just very organized, which is great. And I mean, they'd have their houses and their accommodation booked like 5, 6 months before they were
Wow.
even going. Do you know what I mean? And the accommodation, you want to try and find, you get a certain little bit of money for your accommodation. So if you find, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but if you find cheaper digs than what they've paid you for, then you save the rest of the money.
Yeah, or that
If that
can go
makes
to
any sense.
food or like travel and stuff like that.
Exactly. But then sometimes you go to venues and you cannot find cheap digs. Like Edinburgh is one of the worst, my hometown, but it's one of the worst places to find digs that
So
are
then you
cheap.
have to go over that amount of money.
Exactly. So you're always, if you make money at this point, then you're always gonna, have
Spend
to
it.
spend it somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
But then they all sat round in the pub, organizing who was going to live with who and how much it was going to cost. And then you have to put down deposits. So it's like 50 quid here. But if you're booking like 10 digs in a row,
Yeah,
50
that's
quid,
me.
20
Just
quid, 50 quid. So I didn't book any digs before going out.
oh,
So for the first half of the tour, it was genuinely a case of where am I staying next week and who with and how can I do it. So
no,
that was silly on my behalf, but there's nothing I could have done. I couldn't have, you know, I needed money
for
to
sure.
spend on the digs and I didn't have it. So if you're going on tour or leaving college, put that little bit of money aside and it will help you out so much more.
Have a
But
UK
yeah.
tour pot, UK and Ireland tour pot.
Yeah. And then if you do West End or do like something regional or whatever, then you've got all that money to spend. It's great. Saving.
So, what was your favorite location that you visited?
Oh, I've got to say Edinburgh.
Yeah,
I've got to say
hometown.
Edinburgh. Yeah, it was just like, I mean, it's one of the biggest in the theaters in the UK.
Oh, what a good,
And
it's fantastic.
yeah, and I did Grease there when I was like 12, 11, 12.
Oh, it's like a full
Um,
circle moment.
yeah, literally, it was crazy. And yeah, so getting to do it professionally, and I had like family in every night,
Yeah.
and got to show people my town and be like, look at this and look at this, and come to my house, and there's a beach there, and it was yeah, that was perfect. But the majority of tour places were great. Cardiff Millennium as well. That was another one. It's like an arena. It's crazy.
That sounds fantastic. How did you find playing Doody? What was the track like?
So much fun. So much fun. I had like this squeaky voice that I went into the audition with, and I thought it said on the casting sheet, youngest of the Burger Palace boys or T-Birds,
Mm.
and I was like, I want to get noticed, so I'll make a choice, and I made this like squeaky, squeaky voice and like New Yorkie type voice, and they found it quite funny. And I went back to my agent at the time, Adam, and was like, by the way, I'm excited for rehearsals, but I'm thinking about the accent. I'm going to do this. And he turned around and he went, don't worry, they'll probably cut it. The director will probably get rid of it when you go into rehearsals. 9 months later, my larynx is like up here. I'm like speaking a high voice the whole year.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, it was so much, yeah, so funny.
so-
And I got my own song. I got a little bit of like interaction with, everyone in the cast, I think.
yeah.
Um, apart from Sandy, really. And me and Hope, who plays Sandy, we would sit down before my song on the couch and I hadn't seen her like the whole show. And it's like at the very end of Act Two. And we'd sit down and be like,
Hi.
how are you?
Oh, that's funny. Do you have a guitar as Doody?
Yes,
So did you have to learn
yes.
how to play that, or was it just
I
like
had,
mine?
I had to learn. I had to learn. So the first like two verses is me playing like this
Yeah,
chord. And it took a little bit of time. I never got it that I could play any other song. I never kind of learned guitar, but I learned these enough to do it like with my eyes shut.
yeah, for sure.
And oh my God, basically there was this one day we were opening up the show and we had a new Kaniki coming in, so it was very exciting. And his agent and the casting director for Grease and all the producers and Arlene Phillips and everyone was there. I had other friends in as well watching the show in Milton Keynes. So they were all sitting watching this show, and I come on and they got the guitar there, and it's like silence, and I go, "Ah." like not in tune. I don't know what's happened with it. I don't know what's gone on, if someone's been playing with it or
Mhm.
whatever. But I was like, completely out of tune. Anyway, me for two verses just gave up with the guitar and was singing a cappella to the audience. And I'd never been so embarrassed in my life. I was like, oh my God.
Did the guitar
Um,
get knocked and it wasn't tuned or something like that?
it could have been anything like I think we had like a capo on it, and if that gets moved, then it does something.
Oh,
It's very easy to get moved, like it banged or someone was playing it, or it could have been anything,
yeah.
anything. But you can't help it, these things, really, to be honest. It
Oh,
happened only
yeah,
like it
serious.
happened two times, so that's not bad. Not
Oh,
bad.
to be fair. How many shows did you do in total?
It was like 300 and
That is
300 and something something. Yeah, altogether. Um,
that
which
is
was mental.
yeah. When you think about that, you just think that's like more days that than there are in a year.
That's the thing, like once it was over with, we were all just kind of like,
What do we do now?
that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy how many we've just done. Like how many times we've sung these songs. Like mental. Yeah,
Yeah,
really crazy.
what an experience. So, in the future, if you could pick any show to do, what would be your dream show?
Dream show. Um, this is a really bad answer, but I've always wanted to do something like original
Yes, a lot
that
of
maybe
people.
becomes successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got like, Ben Platt. When you think of Dear Evan Hansen, you think of Ben Platt. When you've got Hamilton, you think of Lin-Manuel Miranda. Like Newsies, Jeremy Jordan. You know, I
Yeah.
think it'd be so cool to be part of something and someone like associate you with that show.
Original cast.
Um,
Like Adina
there's
Menzel.
so many I'd love to be part
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally,
Love-
totally. So something original,
So something
maybe.
not even invented yet or in process.
Or company, or company in a few years' time.
Company, yes. You were great as
Do that again. Do that
oh.
again. It was so much fun. So
Yeah.
much fun.
And the last question I always ask my podcast guests is if you could
Uh-huh.
nominate someone to come on and impart their knowledge, tell us about their time in the industry so far, who would it be? And I'll try and get them on by reaching out to them.
Have you had Rachel Tucker?
No, let's. Should we try and get Rachel Tucker on?
Is that bad? Is that bad? Yeah, Rachel
Oh no,
Tucker.
I would
Absolutely.
absolutely love to get Rachel Tucker on. I mean, that would be an incredible episode. So you heard it here first.
Yeah,
Let's get her on.
she's the best. She's the best.
Thank you so much, Kieran. It's been absolutely
Thanks.
great chatting to you. To everyone listening, make sure you go follow Kieran. We'll find out about his new job very, very soon. There's Kieran.l on Instagram, for those of you who are listening and can't see the screen. But thank you so much, and we'll see you next Sunday for the next episode. Goodbye. Thank you, Kieran.
Right, thanks.